Lesson 10. All right, Algebra. Check lesson 9. Number 1. Well, first of all, what's a coefficient?
A thing that has to sit beside a letter,
Right, what's a letter?
like a variable.
Right. So the coefficient is beside the variable. What order do you put coefficients, variables, constants, all that in? So you have
Alphabet. We put the number and then
the number and then alphabetically after that. That's correct. All right, so number 1, 7 is a coefficient and a constant. And hey, wait, rebellious thing. Yeah, that's better. 7 is a coefficient and a constant, m is variable. 2 is a coefficient and a constant, x is a variable. 6 is only a constant. 6 is a coefficient and a constant, a is a variable, b is a variable. 9 is a coefficient and a constant, c is a variable, b is a variable. If you lump those together, that's fine. 4. 3. 5 is 15. 6 is 1. 7 should be 5, x, y, z. 8 should be 8, a, b, c. 9 is 50, r, s, t. 10 is 5. 11 is 60. 12 is 10. 13 is 2. 14 is 7. 15 is 9. 16 is -6. 17 is -9. 18 is 0. 19 is 14. 20 is 12. 21 is -12. 22 is 1, 23 is -4, 24 is 38. You're subtracting a negative, something you're adding. 25 is 4, 26 is 16, 27 is 23, 28 is -70, 29 is 400, 30 is -820, 31 is -820, correct. Oh, 31, -5/18. 32 is 13/4. 33 is 6, and 7/12. So what?
I didn't reduce,
It's not a mixed number?
it is a mixed number.
It is a mixed number, but you didn't reduce it.
I have 6 and 42/60.
42/60 is wrong anyway. It's 35/60. So it's 6 and 7/12, so. It's wrong no matter what. 34 is 35/24. 35 is 64.5. 36 is 4/25. 37 is 3.5. 38 is 1/16. 39. 49/64. 40 is 1/2. 41 is 5.55. 42 is 40.8. 43 is 11.005. 44 is 19.70. You're allowed to work at 696.
I have 166.
Yeah, your decimal is the wrong place. So since this exercise is about the decimal,
What was number 41?
41 is 5.55.
I have the 3 5s, but I don't
I
have the
have
decimal.
2 5s.
Well, 9.25 times 0.06. Okay,
I think 3 decimals.
it's 4 decimals, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So it's 5 or 5 5.
So it's 5.55 is the right answer. Okay, so
Why do
30.
you, why?
No,
No,
no, It's point
Zero
0.6. Just three
Oh,
decimals.
0.6, my word, yes. 0.6. All right, 6 times 5 is?
30.
6 times 2.
15. Will be at 15, it's 12. This thing is 15.
And 6 times 9 is 55. That
You
is-
carry the one, you carry the one.
Yes, you're right. All right, so 555, and then you go 3 decimals, so 1, 2, 3, 5, 5,
5 point.
5. All right, so we were 45. For that one, 45 is 39.2. 36.71. 47 is multiplication. 48 is inverse property of multiplication.
I'm all the
Inverse. Inverse property of addition. 49 is inverse property of multiplication. 50 is zero property of multiplication. 51, associative property of multiplication. 52, identity property of addition. 53, commutative property of addition. 54, associative property of addition. 55, commutative property of multiplication. 56 is commutative property of multiplication. 57, associative property of addition. 58, inverse property of multiplication. 9, 12 is coefficient. Wait, where's the extra bracket start? 62, 65.
Read it.
59, 12 is coefficient and the constant, k is variable, 8 is constant. 62 is coefficient and constant, x is variable, y is variable. 6 is coefficient and constant, y is variable, z is variable. 61, 2 is coefficient and constant, a is variable, b is variable, c is variable. 62, 13, 63 is 5, 64 is 4.
This is a bad lesson.
Right, one at a time.
36 is not, I have 56 weeks for, is that
Okay,
early on, or is it just something?
well, let's see. Is it 56 over, we have 356?
350.
Over 350. Okay.
I'm not. Hey, you know what I did actually?
36, what?
I did a lot of, I got a lot of those. I got 4 of those, those negative ones. Was it 4 or 3?
4.5 is correct answer. You just didn't reduce
So
it.
it's not wrong.
Yeah, come
What number were you using?
36.
What's 36?
How far was 25?
4.5 is correct.
35, I have 129.
That's what I have.
129?
Over 4.
Yeah.
That's
For
what I have.
129 over 4, we count half home. That's, you just simply did not set it back over mixed number.
And then, what was 39?
39 is 49 over 64.
49 over 104.
Great.
Okay.
All right. What are we the most concerned about? Going into this?
A fraction.
Fractions
That's how, I would say where I got most of them.
and negatives. Why not?
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
I got 16, 17, 25, and 26 wrong with the negatives. That's
How many did you get wrong?
4 off the negatives.
Me too.
Graphing the points isn't hard for you. You got that?
I got both of them wrong, haven't
Okay.
I? I skipped one on accident and the other one I put it in the wrong place.
Okay. Well, yes, that is unfortunate. Let's start with fractions, then we'll do negatives and adding negatives and funny things like that. There's multiple choice for the real number property. You guys happy and comfortable with that, roughly? No?
We went on to that.
Like identity property addition.
Well, I got one of those wrong because I looked wrong.
Okay, those are multiple choice. Yeah. Let's go to
Can we have a grade?
yes, what is it, 64? Is that right?
Yeah.
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 Call it a 96.
And
11.
a half.
I'm gonna call it 82.
That
Could be
almost-
worse. It could be a lot
That's
worse.
12.
And
10, could be an 84. That could be a lot worse.
yeah, that's not something, honestly.
Well, I know.
That's the last grade I
If
got.
basically, if you get, if there's something you're struggling with and then do a lot of it, then. But I think it's just a daily grade, we're trying to redeem ourselves. All right. Let's do fractions for a second. So if we have, I'm trying to think of a fraction here. Let's do Jared's book. This is nice with this. Let's throw this one out. All right, well, we'll do some of the direction here in the book. What are some we got wrong from lesson 9? Go back and work on some of those.
33.
33. 2/15.
I'm not gonna get that right.
That's what I got wrong. I was more close.
6 and 9/20. All right, what's our, there's kind of a standard system. First things first, what do we do?
60. The denominator is equal to 60.
Denominator is 60 right off. Correct. Right, 60, 60. Now what?
15. So from 15 it went into 3 times, so 2 times 3.
3 times?
4 times.
4 times.
So 8.
15 times 4 is 60, yes, so 8.
That's where I went wrong.
That's where you start, that's where you went. That's where it went off the rails for you. You gotta watch that. I would say, yeah. All right, well, at this point, let's just finish it. All right, so 9 goes in
27.
27 and 6. So now we have,
30.
say again,
35. 60.
and
6.
how we reduce that?
7 over 12.
7/12. Yes. All right, another one here, Christie?
One minute,
Yes,
I have,
fraction.
yeah, I have, let's see, where do we start? 35, I have wrong.
35, 5 and 3/8 times 12.
No, it wasn't. Because I only had 129.
You didn't have to work for
5 and 3/8 times 12. All right, first things first, what do we do?
Make them into fraction.
Do proper fractions, so
43 over 8.
43 over 8, right, because 8 times 5 plus 3 is 43 over 8
12 over 1.
times
12 over
12 over 1. Now what?
Can you reduce those?
Yes, you can.
So it's like, you cross out your 8
1.
and 1.
Huh?
22.
2, yes, because 4.
And 3.
So you have 2 and 3. So then you have
129.
129
That's over 4.
over
Why over 4 though?
Over
There's no reason for it
2.
to be over 4.
2 times 1 is 2.
I know.
Same as 43 times 3. 1.9. So then you just divide that by 2. You have to make it back into an improper fraction, into a mixed number because,
So you just divide it.
right, so 129 divided by 2.
Sixty-four and a half. Yeah, I was almost there, I just didn't change it back into,
Mixed number?
yeah, well, first of all, I didn't go 2 times 1. And then I didn't, change it.
Yeah, the important thing is to go this number times this number in multiplication. Now what about division? Like, you get like 39 wrong?
Oh, I got that one right, but I got 38 wrong.
What do you body like said 38 wrong?
No.
Okay,
About
well,
37.
let's do 38 and 39. 38 is 5/8 divided by 10. And 39 is 2 and 5/8 divided by 3 and 3/7. All right. System's the same for both, roughly.
Here you go, shall
Come up here, do this. Do one go wrong.
Should I do the other one?
Yes.
But
Chris, you're being left out. We're gonna make you do one too. We don't want that. You can do 5/8 times 5 and 3/5.
Is that wrong, still? That kind of felt wrong.
Look at that. Hang on. Right.
No, I need to times it. No, but, see? It's over to the, okay.
Okay, so yours was 38. Yes, 1/16 is correct. 39 is not correct.
I know it's not, but it's, sorry, 16, 21, over 8.
Yes, 39 is correct.
21 over 8.
How do you get to the number?
And then add that.
Yep.
21.
All right, perfect. So now what do you have? Divide or multiply? Right. So at this point, it's still, at this point, you still have a division. So you multiply. And then, can you? Good. You can divide or yes.
I mean, it's nice.
Say what? 7 times 7 is not 14.
49.
And 8 times 8 is not 16. Yes. Yeah, you have to remember to multiply rather than add. Yes. No, it doesn't. 49 is 4 is correct. All right. All right, the addition and subtraction. 7 minus -6 plus 4.
17.
You do it in your head? Good. You struggle?
13
Really?
and 17. Because those two get positives?
Yeah, and then plus 4 is good.
Well, I thought I had it down and then I got like a bunch of them wrong, so.
Well, that's over here. All right. 7, what is this? Let's just write it out the way it should be.
Now I see.
7 plus 6 plus 4, right? Equals.
17.
Alright, so, so then if we have -7 minus 8, what do we have?
-7 plus -2.
Right, so -7 plus -8.
But
why don't
those two negatives change each other into positive? Because that is two negatives in a row.
Because what you're doing here is you're combining negatives. So right now you're putting two negatives together. It's as if you have, well, say you're digging a hole, okay? And your one hole is -7 deep, and your other one is -8 deep. If you put your two holes together, which is what this means, you're putting two things together, you're gonna have a hole that's -15 deep. Right?
Yeah.
However, if you're subtracting -8, then what you're doing is you're taking this hole and you're subtracting,
And you're filling it
you're
up.
filling it up.
I get that, but why don't those two do the same thing as the one on top?
Well,
They just help. It's just how it works.
okay, basically, in this case, so in this case right here, you're subtracting negativity, if you will. So you're subtracting wholeness from this hole.
Yeah.
Which means you're filling it in.
Mhm.
It's there's real world applications, but they tend to muddy the waters.
So what I just do is if it's before, like at the beginning, then you don't, and if it's after,
Right.
then you.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, if you have a negative plus this, then you're adding. However, basically, here's the rules, all right? If they're the same, okay. So when you're subtracting, if the numbers are the same, as far as negativity, how do they say this, so I don't screw you up more? You know how it works, but. All right. So when you're subtracting numbers, you change this, when you're subtracting negative. Yeah, basically, anytime you have, it doesn't matter what this number is here in front. If you have two negatives
Beside each other?
beside each other, like this,
Mhm.
then that gets a positive.
Yeah.
You see. So it can be -7, right, so anytime, then you get this. Right? That's the first thing to keep in mind. And then after that, you follow the rules for adding numbers. And that's back on lesson 7. Nope, 6. There you go. And that means that you have to look at this and see if the value of the numbers is the same. So the number is this, if it's a positive value, so for positive values, no, 4, my bad. So you find if they're the same, if the subtrahend is the same, add them together, no matter what, and use that subtrahend. So it can be -30 plus -4. Basically, because they're both negative, you just add them together. If the values are the same, you combine them and then use this subtrahend.
Mhm.
If they are different, now this one has a positive value, this one has a negative value, so the numbers are different. Right? So then you have to find the difference between them.
So it's -26.
Right. And use the subtrahend from the largest value. That probably made it even less clear.
No, yeah,
kind of makes sense?
It makes sense, it's just kind of frustrating that they cheat like that.
Well, yeah, whatever. All right. So, things to keep in mind on the quiz. I'm seeing Christmas and thinking somebody's gone. Somebody is. Things to keep in mind on the quiz is when you're multiplying fractions, remember to multiply. You reduce before you multiply. When you're dividing, what do? You're dividing fractions, you flip the last one, but still remember to multiply. Adding and subtracting mixed numbers, make sure that, if they start out as mixed numbers, they want them to end up as mixed numbers. Keep that in mind. And 4 is a mixed number. I'll give you that. That means they want the whole row there to show as mixed numbers. Ask for help if you need it, and I will see what I can do for you. Obviously, it's a quiz, I can't help too much. I think they want some other quiz. You want to have your other quiz?
That'd be glad.
Why aren't you excited about an algebra quiz? All right, 8th grade, math. Let us check. Lesson 9. Number 1 is 40. 40 inches.
Which lesson are you checking?
Lesson 9. Number 1 is 40 inches, 2 is 15 meters. 3 is 3 inches, 4 is 4 centimeters. Five is 75 degrees and 105 degrees. 1. Basically, you should have, the factors of 77 are 7 and 11. Factors of 176 are 4 2s and 11. And C, do the greatest common factor of 11. Um, 2A, there's 2 2s and 3 3s. B is 3 2s and 2 3s and a 5. With a greatest common factor of 36. Three. There's a 2, a 3, and a 19. And B of 5 and 19. And the greatest common factor of 19. 4. 2 times 3 to the 3 squared times 5 squared. 5 to the power of 2 and 3 to the power of 2. 5 is 2 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 2. And 6 is 2 to the power of 2 times 7 to the power of 2. How big?
So number 4, I guess is centimeters.
Six plus. No, that's a rough one. 18.
I don't understand how you get the greatest common factor.
Yeah, we're gonna bump that. Right, 1 is 94. 1 wrong is 94, 2 wrong is 89, 3 wrong is 83, 4 is 78. That is it.
5.
Okay, 72. All right, how do we find the greatest common factors?
Find all,
Let's do 42 and 63. 42 and 63. All right, Cody, help me find the greatest common, help me find the factors of 42. What do we do? Go out there and do it. All right, so the factors of 42 are 2, 3, and 7. All right. Factors of 63.
That would be 3,
Oh.
3, and 2.
Like I said, I'm up. I don't particularly care if you can do it in your head. So the factors are
3, 3, and 7.
right next to 63. All right. So now what you do, find the greatest common factor is,
Circle 7 and 7.
right, so the imaginary
And 3
circle.
and 3.
So our greatest common factor, or GCF, is
3 times 7.
3 times 7. That's what this little thing here stands for. So 3 times 7 is
21.
21. That's our greatest common factor.
But then, what if it's just, if it was just a 7 and 7 circle, would the common
The
factor be
greatest common
7?
factor would be 7. So basically, basically you only multiply one row or whatever. Basically, so the common factors, the factors that they have in common, which is what we're referring to, are 3 and 7, or say there was 7. You just multiply them by each other and you find the greatest common factor.
But then if there's,
So say, for example, here's another one, so 24 and 72, I'll just do these. Do 24 and 72. The factors of 24 are 2, 2, 2, and 3. No multiplication sign. Factors of 72 are 2, 2, 2, 3, and 3. Right?
yeah, but,
So now what we do, so the factors that they have in common are 2, 2, 2, and 3. So the greatest common factor is going to be 24. Here you go. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Oops. 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Or this. Which, if you multiply all those together, you get 24 anyway. You understand?
yeah, but then if there's, if it's just beyond just the 2s, then is it just the 1?
Right, so if it would just be the 2s, then you just go 2 times 2 times 2, which is,
I don't know. I can figure that out.
It's 2 times 2.
6.
what's 2 times 2? what times 2?
8.
Bingo! All right, in this case, it's 24. It's 24 times, because 8 times 3 is 24. Is that logical?
Yeah.
Good,
Are we using free test?
yes. Not yet.
It's pretty easy.
Here's probably work good, it's mostly memorization. US metric conversions, how many kilometers in a mile?
5/8.
How many kilometers in a mile?
1.6.
Yeah.
1.6. There's 5/8 mile of a mile in a kilometer, yes. 1.6 kilometers in a mile, make sure you get that right. 3.8, Pounds in the
2.2.
2.2. Yards in a meter.
1.1.
Centimeters in an inch.
2.54.
2.54. And you get to use a calculator for a large quantity of it. Go. Remember to multiply the correct directions and so on and so forth. Yes, ma'am?
I need, was I not supposed to change that to next number?
You didn't have, you know,
So I should just go,
it's only this, need to do next numbers.
okay,
25 through 27.
yeah, I did both, but should this just be 25 and 15? And then do. Okay, we'll go there like that? Okay.
It's negative. What's 44 over 12?
What's the question?
Is it negative? Like the answer?
It can't be negative, it's set 5. It's an 8, so it's gonna be positive yet. Remember to get them reduced to the lowest terms.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got your quiz, right?
I have like this.
Yeah.
Do you need it?
Well, rather it isn't cluttering your desk, I just want to make sure you got your grade. You can take it home if you wish or whatever, but I just want to make sure you got it. Where's my jar? Oh, I took it home, that's what. It's,
What is it supposed to be doing?
it's just washing it.
But it's in there.
The things that have been sitting on the print bed for 2 weeks. Roughly.
Oh, you see that one?
This?
Yeah.
These are, they're easy to describe once they're out, but, I guess the gas one. I was going to use them for here and print it off with marginal success.
Gas pump.
I was going to use them, instead of signs, I was going to use a little miniature gas pump. I have things on them too small and awkwardly shaped, so I just left them on the print bed because I didn't feel like taking them off. They were.
So they're not in.
No, they're currently in here, yes.
You have to cool stuff down or what?
No, you have to wash it off. This is 90% isopropyl alcohol. And then you have to cure it with heat and light, which we have heat and light out there, but you're better off putting them in a jar for heat and light. So if I can find an empty jar with a lid and put it out there, get heat and light on it, dry it off, and it'll be hard and dry like this. Currently working on getting another CAD program so I can finally draw stuff again. Getting itchy to do that.
I'm surfing all my answers.
Do it, you can see that.
No, the when they need to be circled is at in an algebra equation where the answer could be anywhere. If it's on a line, then you really need to have it circled.
Don't compare them.
I can compare them if I want. I'm using one to check the other, so if you're both wrong on something, then, good luck.
What if we're both right on something, we just got different answers?
There's always that possibility. Yes, sir.
Good.
Yeah. Things are going well. Struggle here is that the absolute value of 17, the negative 17 is 17. So when they go, say for example, 4,
They weren't
Plus.
negative.
well, it's like this, so 4 plus the absolute value of negative 7 is what?
11.
Right. So that's what was going on there. Otherwise, it's really close. I didn't, in a vacuum, I probably would have done the same thing.
You saw my work.
Yeah, well, we're multiplying. I mean, you were running like multiplication problem rather than like an addition problem.
But it was 4
You weren't finding the common factors. Yeah, see, so now you have to multiply 4. This one you have to multiply by 4 in order to get the bottom, the factors, the bottom row
So
to be the
16
same.
over 4. Right?
Yes. Now you can add them together, so negative 16 plus 3. You wouldn't have anything at the bottom.
19 over 4.
19 over 4. That was kind of
That is
your
a
common
mixed number,
problem. Yes.
Just 19 over 4.
Alright, let's go for recess. Oh, shoot, I didn't write down those scores.
94.
Divided with 79.
You know what helps me on these?
Yeah, I don't know, it's,
That is the easiest way and it's faster.
Well, I never got that.
well, they are a little bit the way they are. Yeah, but you kind of made the same mistake on all of them, which,
And I just
Really
reduced the one because I didn't know if it needs to be reduced anymore, so I just left it what it was.
things always need to be reduced to the smallest number. And also, you had at one point, you had 32 over 30,
Yes, I had that,
that is,
the proper fraction. So you can change to a mixed number,
so this technically, what it was like, you had like 3 and 32, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be 4, because another 30.
One.
And 1 over 15, or 2 over 15, 2 over 30. 2 over 30 gets reduced, you can reduce it to 1
one.
over 15.
Do you need more?
I got it.
No, mine was a,
I don't remember what you had for this number. This is not the number, this is the number.
yeah, that's the number I had, 32 over 30.
Yeah, I don't remember what this part was.
It was 3,
It was 3.
yeah.
So yeah, it's supposed to be like, yeah,
8 over 18, I have to reduce that.
yeah. They're both divisible by,
4,
no,
2. 4 over 9.
yes.
Should we just stop for recess and leave it on the side?
I don't feel like.
It's volleyball. I think we have a.
See that?
Huh?
Who could see that coming?
on that phone call. Well, that was fun.
It was enjoyable. Once we warmed up, started kind of tapered off from there. Is what I was afraid it was going to go, but no, it didn't.
So reading? Doing literature?
Huh?
Literature?
Yes. Oh, let me. Switch it again. I hate to mix things up as well, but here we go.
Oh, yeah, we get the quiz. 36 times 3 is what?
Hmm?
Figuring out the stupid problem.
Oh, it's a stupid problem. It is a problem. Problems are seldom.
125 over 15. Let's reduce that.
All right. High school. You have your notes.
I have my
Your
notes.
biography.
Yeah.
I've got a few notes, but I didn't write them out on the paper yet, on my cards. But I brought my notes.
We'll literature first. Sorry, great. It's quiz day for them.
Yes. We have a quiz. Yeah.
Lesson 6.
I'm thankful.
Literature.
What's English? It's not a quiz.
English is just lesson 9. All right, so we have notes. We have them all on cards. You're all happy. You've interviewed your main source for sure. Should interview secondary sources. That's kind of next. Make sure you notate them as well. In other words, the secondary sources are next on your list. You make sure you get them taken care of. So,
I would also need to completely off topic, but on this calculator, there's 2 red buttons. And there's C, and then there's AC. And what's the difference?
so basically what the deal is, I should grab my mic, it's fun of it. Go. Oops. Are you happy? No, you're not. You are a thing of. So the deal is, basically, actually, it's a really good question, and it's important to know the answer to it. First of all, doesn't matter that it's completely off topic. Basically, if you're multiplying along or adding or whatever, so you go, 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 6 times 4 or whatever. Basically, at any point in there, if you have your number on it, so you type 7 instead of 6, just push the wrong number, and then you push C, it'll clear it, and then you can push times 6, right? So basically, this undoes this thing that you did. However, if you do AC, then it clears the whole thing. So it clears it all the way back to starting over. Gives you a clean slate. AC, and it must be all clear, I'm not sure. All right. Lesson 5. Literature. 1 is B. 2 is A. 3 is B. 4, encouraging unlawful assemblies, not conforming to the worship of the Church of England. Oh, if you want to. 5, the Lord save his own corrupt heart. Yes. 6, It opened up one little thing where he had seen nothing in particular before. It says 7, how he would be able to encounter death, what would happen to his wife and family. 8, his blind child. 9, that he had no choice but to stand for God. God could choose when to give him comfort and whether he would have mercy and save him at the last. There's something similar to that, something about God being in control. 10, the truly godly man will serve God for nothing rather than giving. 11, in person and by telephone. 12, false and sympathetic or warmth or something on that line. 13 is dissension. 14 is God and innocent. 15, fear, pride, and discouragement. 16, fruitful, confidence, and condemnation. 17, F. 18B, 19B, 20A, 21C, 22B. Questions?
I have 19 and 21 switched.
19 and 21 are switched? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have one of the big essay ones wrong, I'm going to count those as wrong. Nobody has them wrong, actually. Mostly. I count things worth 3 points to give you 9 points. So, 1, 2, you're not like going under 20 points for that. All right, 1 wrong is 97, 2 wrong is 94, 3 wrong is 91, 4 wrong is 88. 1 is 84. Everybody good? Good. To give some things about John Simons and John Bunyan. Who wrote Grace Abounding to the Chief of Sinners? John Bunyan. Was troubled by dissension in the church in his old age. The biography is written about the biographer. True or false? What about an autobiography? Or the biography and for.
What was the first one?
An autobiography is written by the biography. That's what I mean. Biography is the person who's writing. No.
No, that's
Yeah,
not
but who is being written about?
Was the first one true, actually?
False.
What was it?
Biographer. The
You're
grapher is
supposed
the
to
person
write
who's
their
writing.
name in.
True or false? So biography is written about the biographer. The biographer is the person writing. Not necessarily. False is what you're looking for. A good biography excludes the subject's faults.
No,
What does exclude mean?
leave out.
Leaves out, yes. Biographies are a form of fiction. What's fiction?
Made up.
Yeah, made up stories. Yeah, so it would be false. The Lord, Satan, and his own corruption are sources of Bunyan's what?
What?
The Lord, Satan, and his own corruption were sources of Bunyan's turnings and goings, arrest and imprisonment, temptations, and nonconformities.
Turning those.
8th grade. What is, oh, there's no check. Because we did the quiz. Let's do, what's the memory verse from section 1?
I have set before thee life and death, blessing and cursing, therefore choose life. Is that?
We have a reference.
Deuteronomy 27.
10, 7,
30, 19.
30, 19. You were all wrong. 10, 7. All right, L rounds and shilling is what this lesson is about. What's conflict in a story?
It's when two characters or things, they're usually fighting. I don't know.
Okay.
It's,
So in the story, the snake's back. What's the conflict?
There was a storm coming and they decided to cross a really narrow curvy trail.
So the conflict is between
the trail and the people.
trail or between the storm and the people, probably. Well, there's probably a joint there between the storm and the trail, to be honest. Because if you left either one of those out, it wouldn't be a big deal. What is climax?
It's when it's at the height of like the story, like everything's happening.
Height of the conflict, yeah.
The height of the conflict. So can you make climax in Snake's back?
When they found out that what's his name had gone on.
Okay.
And they forgot the brace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, probably, right, it kind of increased the tension to the peak. And then what's the resolution?
when they figure out the problem and you are happy with yourself.
Yeah, so the resolution is the ending. What is it? Quatuor is the last word for today. Very fairly familiar root word to things. You'll find it in quad, and anything that basically means what?
Four,
Four.
is that it?
Find it in words like quadruple, quadruplets, or the word quadrillion. Yeah. Which is a lot. But on the other hand, if any of you ever makes that much money, I'll give you my friend. I will give you all hundreds. Quadriplegic means you can't use your arms or your legs. Paralyzed. Shucks. Hate when you kind of run out of time, but. I really wanted to have you read out loud again. So that's one other, it's 10 pages of story there. You're all done with the lesson, correct?
Yeah.
You're not?
Not at all, that's it.
Okay. All right, we'll skip the order. I'll just go over this, on page 20. It's not a big deal. Just going over it. Anyway, basically conflict, there's different types of conflict. There's basically three different types of conflict. The first one is man against himself. That's just simply a man struggling with his inner feelings, struggling with his feelings about, maybe even about somebody else, but sometimes, very often it's, should I do the right thing or not? The second type of conflict is a man against man sort of thing. So you got a big old stick, and the Cain and Abel sort of situation, but one guy gets doinked. That's man against man. It's the second type of conflict. And the third type of conflict is kind of man against nature. So like the story of the snake's back. The White Mountain. Whatever, mountain climbing or whatever, struggle like and read the story about the guy who climbed Mount Everest or K2 or whatever. Those are man against nature. This would be like Cain and Abel, and this would be probably Jonah. And then very often a story of like man against himself winds up being a story kind of man against God almost to a certain extent.
And I've noticed about those stories that they end up being morals.
Yeah. They're the yeah. Unfortunate. There's this thing with morals that just kind of makes like you get started on the story and you're like, well, I know where this is going already. But often very good stories. Okay. So like, for example, one example of a man against himself would be like, say a guy is afraid of dogs or something, and he wanted to apply for a job at an animal shelter in order to overcome that fear. That's kind of a man against himself situation.
Or just mad at himself for doing something.
Right, or just, yeah, simply anger yourself for the way you act. Like, that's definitely a struggle that some people have, is they do something and then just angry at themselves for having done that way, which sometimes it's hard to, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to relate to a situation like that, well, kids just don't do that. But it's a very real struggle that some people have, and I think it's definitely something that we forget is a struggle for some people. Like say something we don't have a struggle with, we tend to be very hard on people who do have a struggle with it. So say somebody has a struggle with organization, and you tend to be a very organized person, well, so just organize. That's hard, just do it. But some people really struggle with that. And it's important to be gracious toward people who actually have a struggle, because you very often have a struggle that somebody else doesn't. All right. That's all I have. Help hold it though, kind of comforting.
And he did that, like, Mr. Bulbous is quite agile for such a tiny thing. I think I'm pretty sure I am.
Oh, here it is, page 3. Right on the other side of the page. Yes.
So I kind of remember what some of these words were, the best.
Yeah. They have a word bank for you. Charge Key's son. indict malicious inertia hanger.
Isn't that a big guess?
Yeah, that's kind of what you're down to here. Thank you. Say again?
I love that the one I think I put it in writing.
Which one?
I don't know how you say it. What's this?
Malicious, yes.
On number 20, on this algebra, is it 125 over 15, or do you have to reduce it? They can get reduced.
From 25 over 15, it needs to be reduced, yes.
Next number,
No.
Chris, what is yours?
Quiz.
One.
You done with it? Thank you.
That's what usually.
How do you think you spell it?
I'm trying to figure that out. U-S-S. U-A-L.
Willa.
L-L-Y. Is that close?
No, the trick is, well, it's close, yes. The trick is, you don't have one S on account of the makes the soft J sound usually. Which number was that? 15? 28? What did you get?
I'm still trying. 25 over 3.
All right, take 5 minutes. Ish.
There you go. So, what kind of copy is?
It's just gonna have to be like that. It's just gonna have to be like that.
You get your card, Cody?
No, it's coming today.
Is that like a 4-wheel drive?
two. It's like their slash.
Oh, that one. Nice. What kind of body?
It's a Ford Raptor.
Those things are pretty insane. I never had one of the new ones. All mine were old FM style. That's what I found for very cheap at a place.
Yeah, actually, that wasn't actually very cheap to buy.
Hmm?
That wasn't actually very cheap.
No. I found all mine at an auction. Let's see, it was old FM style, so like rather than like the radio was an FM radio, rather than the standard 2.4 gigahertz ones today. They'd yeah, basically you had to have a crystal in your radio transmitter and in your receiver and match them up and stuff. It's not really confusing, it's just awkward because you only have a certain number of people driving at once.
Yeah, they have this one, it's called the X Max, and if you can spend over $1,000 on it, it's crazy.
Yeah,
The things go like over 65 miles an hour.
yeah, it's just wild what they do, that they can actually still be stable while driving at those kind of ridiculous speeds.
Did you make a product?
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
No, it's back behind like that sliding door pouch, so it's easier to get.
Located where it's easier to make the assemblies. No, we got 4 big ones, and 5 small ones are $70, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, and we just compiled it for a
I
while
think what
before we ran
I-
out of parts.
Mine was like $290, I think. And that was a cheaper one.
One we got, if you put it to its highest gear and turn, when we're going that fast, it
Those are
just
old.
flips.
Yeah. No, they're pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I seen this video of this guy, he just drove it through water. I think it's kind of, the totally waterproof.
You can actually drive them on top of water, some of them really fast.
Oh, really?
They're so fast they'll just skim right along the top.
That'd be cool.
Truth of the matter is, I like airplanes better, but.
Yeah.
the
We
trucks
should,
are-
we should build some of those airplanes.
I've built 82 of them.
We should build some, that'd be cool. We put GoPros on them.
I was thinking maybe we could put together a big foam one for last day of school, possibly.
That'd be cool.
Candy drop.
You know, that would be cool. Drop over.
We got plans. We'll see. See how we feel. All right. Let's check this again. Remember, if you are done with stuff, to study your fundamentals first before we go on to other things. All right, adjective phrases. What is an adjective phrase?
It's a prepositional phrase that describes a adjective
Or
or a noun or something.
all right, so say for example, stand on my mic because that'll help fix it. The dog in the tree is not mine. Because I wouldn't want to claim a dog in the tree. What? Let's break that sentence down real quick. What's dog?
Subject.
All right. What is the verb? Leah.
Is not.
Is, what is not?
Adverb.
An adverb, yes. Describing, yes. All right. What else do we have? Richard?
The tree.
Is,
An adjective phrase.
An adjective phrase describing,
Dog.
yes. What's mine? Can we talk about this? I keep getting my glasses mixed up. Yes. Yes, we can talk about predicate adjectives.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
Okay. It is a predicate adjective.
Oh, yeah.
So how would we diagram this?
The dog, or the goes on an adjective.
The
Dog is a subject.
dog
Is
is, oopsie,
a slash,
backslash, because why?
because it's your name and dog.
Pointing back, the dog is,
And mine.
all
And
right,
it is not goes under is.
yep, is not,
And then in the tree goes under dog.
yes, in the tree. So, all right. Phrases, number one, China is a country with a large population in the world. How many is it in class? Matter. We did all of them in class?
Except for three.
Except for three, all right. So a sales clerk with a parrot is the prepositional phrase, goes to sales clerk. And on her shoulder goes the parrot.
How much are you marking for?
Prepositional, the whole thing is 1 point. Arrow is half a point, parentheses are half a point. So if your parentheses are in the wrong spot, then you count a half point. But if you don't have any parentheses or arrows, that's 1 point. At the pet store goes the fish, and in the mall goes the store. 4. China is the subject. Who is it? I can't remember. China is verb, country. The goes under, actually the goes under country. And with population, the largest, and in world, in the world, is stack. 5. You get a sales clerk with parrot, with a parrot on her shoulder, was feeding, vertical line, fish. So was feeding fish. And then at the pet store, we're gonna do 2 ways, right? Well, there's a I here too. There's at store. So you can either have at the pet store up here, or you can have at the pet store. And then in the mall underneath. Adverb phrases, same as adjectives, only they're adverbs.
We did 6 and 7 in class.
That's what I thought. 8. In the center goes to stood. There's a question where. 9. The Mayflower sailed in 1670 goes under sail. Across the Atlantic goes under sail, and from England also goes under sail. Because none of them, they're all describing sailing.
Should I not have put it under the line? Right there.
No,
That's 2 wrong.
it's kind of one wrong. They're all answering either when or where. 10. I'm tired of this traffic. Of this traffic goes under I'm tired. I'm tired is over. Basically, yeah. Remember the word modifies. All right, so 11 and 12. Of persecuted Christians in what kind of phrase?
Adjective,
Going to
stories.
correct. Leah, what is in the martyrs of Mary?
I missed that one.
Okay, we'll do it now. Where did it go to?
Add,
Describing the word,
back.
yes.
How much do you mark off for that?
12. Richard. Wiki wiki.
A according to the news article, is adjective.
It is a not adjective.
Never.
It's an adverb. It goes to has reduced.
Okay. How many?
Answering the question, come half point off for the arrow. And
What about the adjective in the law?
I'm kind of lumping that into the arrow today. Because if you get the arrow wrong, then you're gonna get that wrong, generally speaking.
Yeah, but
It answers the question, which question does it answer?
the arrow was perfect.
You have it going to has reduced?
What?
You have arrow going to has reduced?
What is hazardous?
That's what according to the news articles. According to the news article, it's going to has reduced.
Yeah.
And because that's verb, it is an adverb phrase. Answering which question again? How, when, where, and to what extent?
How?
How, yes. Seatbelts and airbags is the next one, Leah. What is that one? Where did it move going to? Right, so what kind of word is use? The use of seatbelts and airbags.
User.
No, see, use in this case is acting as a noun.
So it should be an adjective?
It is an adjective phrase, right, because use is the subject of this sentence. Use has reduced. All right. What's of fatalities for you?
To number.
Yes, it goes to number and it is an adjective. And on our nation's highways is,
An adjective.
and it goes to,
Number. Number.
no,
Right.
it's with number.
Fact.
Fatalities. Fatalities, it goes to fatalities. It is still an adjective, but it goes to fatalities. So, that one. All right, 13, A is concrete, B is abstract, C is concrete, D is abstract. 14, taught is underlined, wife is in parentheses, and Morse code is circled. Wood is underlined, or wood tap actually, is the verb, and messages is circled. As a direct object. 15, offer is underlined, Edison, parentheses, and $100,000 is circled. $100,000 back in the early 1900s is a lot of money. Still is a lot of money, it's not as much. 16. Basically, the way I used to try to think of it is I try to multiply it. It was before the 1920s, I tried to multiply it by 100. So that'd be like $10 million in today's money. It was after the 1920s, I had to multiply by 10, up to about the 70s. 16, Thomas was humorous and practical. Well, I can go through this work on it. Thomas was humorous and practical.
It's a predicate adjective.
Humorous and practical. And Edison built himself and his assistants. Edison goes here, built laboratory. He built a lab,
A huge.
a huge lab in New Jersey. In New Jersey. Or he built New Jersey. That. Why did they have it both ways? Because it doesn't make sense, but I guess if you have it under built, I don't know, built in New Jersey. You answer this question. I actually don't like this one at all. But it doesn't describe the lab. Oh well. Himself and assistants goes like such, because they are,
Indirect objects.
yes, himself and assistants, his assistants. 18, in 1978, parentheses, one electric light, is in parentheses, 19, according to the encyclopedia, for the right kind of material and for a filament. 20, at this time, and to homes and businesses. Okay, using a declarative sentence using up as an adverb.
I wasn't quite sure, I'm not sure if I actually did this one right.
Okay.
I wrote, he gave up and went home.
Oh, he gave up and went home.
Is that right?
That'll work. Yes, we are doing.
You didn't have to go up there. No, it's right.
You did have to go up there, yeah. I'm just starting here. All right, Richard?
Yeah.
21, please. What do you have?
He jumped up
Nice long one.
upstairs.
You jumped up the stairs? I feel like you don't have the stairs. That's just me from back here, and probably what you probably have, but, okay. All right. Okay. Cody, using help as a preposition.
Did he go up this trail?
Up this trail. Up trail.
Why did you go up in the hayloft?
No. Because you have in the hayloft. In the hayloft is represented, and up is not. It's acting as an adverb. What do you have, Richard?
Did he just jump up the stairs?
Yes.
I do have the stairs.
You do have the stairs that time? Because you better. If you don't have the stairs, then it's wrong. But no, it's up the stairs, yeah. So it needs to have an object after it. 23 is linking. Became is underlined twice. Predicate adjective is pompous. 24, linking. And where is your verb? Predicate nominative is Henry Ford, John Burroughs, predicate nominative, and Harvard Firestone is also predicate nominative. 25 is action, and took is underlined twice, it's a verb, and trips is circle. There are no indirect objects. 26, A is check mark, no verb. What's a check mark? I didn't write it. B is preposition. C is adverb. D is noun. E is adjective. F is noun. G is verb. H is adverb. I is adjective. J is adjective. 28 should have feminine and masculine. 29 grotesque and picturesque. 30 morose and verbose. 31 docile. 32 vigilant and buoyant. 33 34 comical and rhetorical. 35 contemptuous and impetuous. 36 remedial. 37 succulent. 38 tranquil. 39 autonomous. Pronouns. Tough stuff. The tough thing about
Really great.
hard tell.
I'm fine.
Call it a 93. 81. 94. All right, So the pronouns, let's just do number one. First of all, what's an antecedent?
Thing that pronoun does something to, I don't know.
Richard?
The antecedent is Andrew and James and me.
The word the pronoun replaces is what antecedent is,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So yes, so number one, the pronoun obviously is they, and he is also an antecedent. So, I mean, is the antecedent for they is, Leah, what's the antecedent for they?
James and me.
And Cody, the antecedent for he?
Andrew.
Precisely. All right. Personal pronouns. This is where it gets tricky, to be real honest. We have objective, nominative, and as possessive case pronouns. And possessive is easy. But nominative and objective can be a little harder. The thing that I try to keep in mind with nominative and objective case pronouns is that it all kind of depends on where they come in the sentence as to what they are. So like if you notice that, yeah. Like for example, if you say, they are going out. It is used as what? What case is it? I mean, what place is it taken? Right, a noun or a subject. The subject of a sentence. Yeah. All right, and that would be nominative. Nominative. Yeah, whatever. They take this place as a subject or a predicate nominative. All right. So predicate nominative. So to say. Oh shoot. Can't think of a good example. Like it is I, for example. It is I. I is a nominative case. Renaming. Nom means name. Objective case are direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of prepositions. So like, you'd say, for example, can you help us? Actually, this is a predicate nominative and a subject up here. Can you help us? So us, in this case, is objective case. Why? It's being used as right. Direct object. So direct objects, indirect objects, and objects of prepositions. So the shark passed under us. Us in this case again, it's object of preposition. Objective case. Possessive case would be like, for example, our. Passed went. This is our boat. Our is possessive, it shows possession. All right, let's do a few. Yeah, and then they had expected you to memorize. You, those things, which probably would be good if I memorized them, but I sure haven't. Let's do, ooh, look at that, we have our question in here. Let's start with number 7, and just do a few of these in class. Kent, Grove, Ben, Leah, and I or me?
I. And me, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because I have no idea.
It's me.
I'm just, it just sounds like
No,
something.
where you guys.
It is me.
Okay.
The way I would do that is I would take Ben and Leah out of that sentence. So you can't drove me to school this morning. You would say can't drove I. You can take the others out of there and say it without that, and if that'll help simplify. 8, and same thing as here. Same thing here, you can take out Oklahomans. So 8, one of the tornado survivors said, we, Oklahomans, don't give up easily. We don't give up easily. 9, gave what?
Us.
Yes, us, correct. And 10, Richard.
I.
Right, because there you can say, but I haven't been there yet. You can take Hannah out of the equation and then simplify it. All right, let's go back and do 4 through 6 here as well. Then we'll get this right. Singular, plural, and then first, second, and third person. What is a second person?
Your. You.
Yeah, so it's talking to somebody else. So it's like me talking to you, for instance, would be second person. And first person, we talk about myself. So first is myself, second is talking to you, and then third person is talking about they and them, people farther out. So just always think of it kind of as 3 circles. I and me is in the center, and then you, and basically you. That's all you get. And then talking about everybody else. This is third person. So 1, 2, 3, third person, them, and they. This would be us. Us would be in here as well. All right, so 4. Which is it, Cody? Singular or plural, first of all?
Singular.
Singular, so S goes in blank. First, second, third person. Third person, yes.
Yeah.
Right. It's talking about somebody else. Perfect. 5, Leah. Singular or plural? Singular. Richard. Second or first or third or seventh person.
Hey. It's second.
Second person, yes. Talking about you. And 6. Plural or singular, Cody? I'm not Cody. Richard. Plural, yes. Richard. I tell you, I just need a pointer. 6. First, second, or third person. Third person. All right.
I'm
If you want to vote.
After you're done, yes.
I know everything goes except for wealthy businessmen.
Okay, we'll start.
Many
Okay, many,
business.
well, actually, I wouldn't say many would be the subject. many will be describing something.
Many, oh, okay, so we made, wealthy businessmen. Um,
Well, I'm looking in there. All right. Let us check. That's 9. 8, Robert. What's an adjective clause?
Modifies a noun or pronoun and follows the word with a clause.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
Modifies a noun or pronoun and follows the word that modifies.
Okay. What's a clause exactly? Any input?
It's the phrase. That can be.
Well, it's not. No, kind of. It's confusing a little bit. It can't ever be its own sentence. It does have a subject and it does have a verb. But the thing that it has mostly, the thing that keeps it from being its own sentence is the fact that it has that starting word, which we call a relative pronoun, and the antecedent for that relative pronoun is somewhere in the previous sentence. So, well, let's just start with, yeah, here. The early colonists rejected the law that required them to pay taxes on tea. So the that is it's the subject of the relative clause, of the adjective clause. But it's the antecedent for that happens to be law. So that required them to pay taxes on tea makes no sense by itself. It has to have the previous sentence to actually make it make sense. How many of those are you doing in class? All of them?
7 through 12.
All right. You skip 7 through 12? Do it. Okay. 7. That Jacob loved most goes to son. Whose God is the Lord goes to people. To whom I should speak about a new driver's license goes to person. 2 is actually included in that adjective phrase, in clause, but, yeah. Just include it if you don't have it. To whom? 10, who thought his friend were royal was Julius Caesar, and which are pure white birth goes to puppies. And at which Diane excels goes to hogs. No! I'm a winner. Look, he has to have a different tone than everything else. I don't know.
And we did 14 and 15.
We did 14, 15 in class, so 13. North is the subject, the sentence, and won is the verb, battle is the direct object. And without goes under battle, it goes under north. Which is the subject of the clause, and became is the verb. Point is the predicate nominative, I guess. A goes under point, turning goes on the crooked line, and then on the syllable word is the prepositional phrase. All right, how do we join these sentences together? There's 16 point.
Judas was evidently the treasurer of the disciples, but willing to Lord Christ.
Yeah, that's awkward. These are all awkward sentences. The problem is, you can't put that after disciples, because that sounds like the disciples all denied Christ.
That later denied Christ because of the treasurer.
That would make more sense.
So it's wrong.
Yeah, kind of.
Who later denied Christ.
Who would also work, yes, but that is not necessarily the problem in this. So, what do you have exactly?
Judas was evidently the treasurer for the disciples who later denied Christ.
Yeah, here again, it needs to come after Judas instead of after disciples.
So it's wrong.
So it's wrong.
What? Okay. What?
So it should be Judas, who later denied Christ, was evidently a treasurer for the disciples. Because the adjective clause should directly follow the word it modifies.
Okay, but it said the sentence you want to emphasize less becomes the adjective clause.
Right.
And the one I wanted to emphasize less was the treasurer for the disciples.
Okay, so then you couldn't have Judas, who was evidently a treasurer for the disciples, later denied Christ. That would also work.
I just skipped the evidently that Judas was the treasurer for the disciples, later denied Christ.
Yes, now you don't have a clause at all. That one's wrong as well. All right, let's finish these up.
I don't know what clause.
Don't come for either the next of these two wrong either. Might happen. So 17, what would you do, Elisa?
Golgotha is the place where Jesus was crucified, which is called the place of his death.
I have this. I don't know which is called, this is called.
Right. So here again, right, so we have Golgotha, and then we have our clause, which is called the place of the skull, is the place Jesus was crucified. You have to have it directly following the word modifies.
Or did I fix the next one?
So what?
Can I fix the next one?
Yeah, please. What do you have for the next one, Christy?
The fire which has slowly was bought at the church.
Yes. That's good. Right. Yeah, so they need to come directly after where they want it. I should have emphasized that more. Richard and Leah, I want you guys to give each other spelling first. I'm better than you guys not have 100% of the spelling tests. All right, 19. Brilliant and famous get parentheses, and it's underlined, and underlined, modern also gets underlined. Modern, if you count that as, yeah, it's underlined.
Yeah.
Tony. Who have I lost? 2 is underlined, last one is circled. The gets underlined, enjoy to the world, and the and wondrous.
And wonders here?
Describing cross.
I have a question, do I have to mark modern hymnal?
You're saying you don't have a modern underline?
I even have those that you're supposed to remove. And that's like so frustrating.
I don't have modern, but I've got wondrous.
Altogether.
I know, that's why I'm hesitating to make you try to call me at all.
Well, it makes,
Just don't tell that wrong.
it makes sense.
Mark it down, but don't count the point out. It makes sense that they counted, basically, it's so hard to tell what they mean. And that's the problem about English in general, is you can never tell whether they're going to be like, oh, that's one thing, or, oh, you should have all your adjectives, server, whatever. And that's what makes English difficult, and language specifically, possibly. But yeah. Now where are we? 21. There we go. Consisting mostly of psalms, the music of the church had little variety for Watts time. That's better, not right. That's not wrong. Don't put that in. Right. But yeah, exactly. So basically, you have to get consisting of mostly psalms closer to music. It's too far away from music and too close to church.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
What do you have?
Because music consists of mostly songs, the church has little variety in music, so
That's don't count that one wrong. The thing is, yeah, no, that's fine. I can work with that. Which means music needs to be closer to consisting mostly of songs.
I have a church that little variety in music consisting mostly of songs and Watts time.
So that's an awkward way to say that. But I don't think it's entirely wrong. You wouldn't say that.
It's whatever.
Like you wouldn't talk that way because it's so awkward. But because you have it closer to music, that was the point. I'll let you go on that. Try to make it feel a little more natural possibly but yeah. All right, 22. A compilation of children's poems, compilation is circled, and a compilation of children's poems, gets underlined. 23, Randy gets circled.
What was circled in 20?
Compilation.
That row, 1 row, half row.
Now, underline with the point and this each circle with the point. 24 is A, 25 is B, 26 is B. 27. This should be easy. Here's what we got. 27. So again, in the shade, the flower in the shade is all day long.
On the table.
On the table. Good. 29.
29.
28.
Oh, yeah, please.
In the room.
Well, yeah, waterfall on the table. I was reading it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it right now. Waterfall, yeah, no, they want that anyway. Yeah, waterfall on the table. That'll be an interesting thing. 29.
That could be.
With the briefcase. 30. Here's, okay. Did we skip 31?
Yep.
I thought so.
1, 2, 3.
How is it?
Said only 3 rows.
Only 3 wrong? Good.
Actually, I got 3 wrong last. But I also had 11 before that.
No, shucks. Call it 2 points for each one.
So you can edit the back.
All right. Relative adverbs. Thank you. Now run it again. Why is checking taking so long? Need to start doing it faster, I guess. I always use it as a chance to get studying done. Relative adjectives, relative pronouns. What is a relative adjective?
Adjective?
Yes.
I don't know. Where is it?
Right, the words.
Adverb?
Adverbs. Relative adverbs in adjective clauses. So, yeah, they basically describe, they answer the question of where and when. So like, for example, I'll just use the examples I have here. And we'll do number 1. After Germany, the country where Bob most wants to go is Switzerland. So, what is our adjective clause? Right, where Bob wants to go. Where is the relative adverb? And it is answering which question? Where, precisely. That's how you know it's an adverb. What about, what's our adjective clause in number 2? Right, when Shakespeare is born, a relative adjective is adverb.
When.
When, yes. All right. Sometimes there is an understood relative pronoun, and those are much harder. And so we will do these. Number 5. Uncle Adam is a man that I respect. That is another way. Basically, I respect is your clause, and you have an understood that. So,
It's who.
who? Doesn't matter, I'm sorry.
Who or
Who?
You
Or
go
that.
to number 36
Only
and you
matters.
get the
5.
answer.
Oh, 36?
Yes, diagram.
I don't actually think it matters who or that, but it is there. Uncle Adam is a man, either who or that I respect. Probably who is better. What about 6?
That.
What is our phrase?
Philip.
Philip baptized, yes, and that. Or
What
who would work.
is a man whom I respect? So
I
I
respect.
respect, and then the person that felt baptized.
I would actually say who as well, if I'm a
The
person.
person who,
Who Philip baptized? Let me just,
whom,
whom Philip
the
baptized.
person whom felt baptized. Felt baptized.
Say 1 or 10.
Oh, it's
9.
that or who, so it can't be that. I know.
Who, yes, you can have who's. Actually, 5 and 6, they both have different whom.
Hey, but where does it go from? Just Philip and baptized?
Yeah.
Just Philip baptized. What about 7?
Well, I wanted to do that.
Yes. The keyboard I wanted, so I wanted is your phrase, and that is your understood relative pronoun. And 8, what do we have?
Jesus Bible, that whom Jesus loved.
They have, yeah, whom did Jesus love? Whom Jesus loved?
And then, is there only one of each, the relative pronoun and the relative adverb in down to 13? There's 3 understood.
Understood. What is
Let's
it?
just go ahead and do these as well.
I have our.
So, is it a relative pronoun, relative adverb, or understood?
Yeah.
Right, because the relative adverbs are, answer the questions,
Where,
where and when. All right, so 10 is understood. 11 is,
when,
relative yes, relative adverb because question, where? And also, what this is where. 12, understood again. And relative pronoun for 13. Alright,
I don't wanna do 14
Okay,
or
why
16.
well, that's too bad. We're gonna do them right now.
13,
Say again?
why is it irrelevant pronoun?
It's, why is it? Because it's who.
13?
Yeah, it's who,
It's who, it should be who.
not who or that. Where are you at?
13.
13.
It's not understood.
Oh, it is relative pronoun.
Yeah, that's what it's.
That's what we said, right?
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying,
why
why is it?
Because it answers, I mean, because it's a pronoun.
Like, if you go back to lesson eight,
Go- Yeah,
list of all relative pronouns.
right. Who, whom, whose, which, and that. All relative pronouns. So, yes, relative pronoun is. Well, let's do, each of you do one of these. Yours you do 14, Chrissy you do 15, and Lisa you do 16.
We have to write them down.
Write them down, please, and then we will go over them. And
You have to write down theirs.
just write down yours.
So you, for the beginning, said can't have any words before it, or just like how are you supposed to do it in other words?
Write a sentence that has an adjective clause beginning with a relative pronoun, or in your case, with an adjective clause beginning with a relative adverb. So relative adverbs are
I mean,
when, where. No.
when,
Yes.
where, when.
You want something else? You have some?
No. I'm trying to think here. Trying to.
I can't do this.
You need to make it a subject and verb.
Mhm. With an adjective clause beginning with an understood relative pronoun, like how do you begin something when it's understood and you can't write it down?
Look back at, like, say, number 10.
The basic part is that like everything with another.
Yeah, can you write something down with that format?
Maybe.
Alright, 8th grade. Going to the board here. real quick. We'll run through
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be,
38 through 40.
yeah.
Cody, rhetorical. Leah, impetuous, and Richard, buoyant. Alright, everybody have sentence? Okay.
The dog that bit the mailman was refused to scolded. The dog that bit the mailman was refused to scolded.
Yes, that did mailman, that's good. Buoyant is, you have something mixed up there. Except you also need more letters. This is correct. And we'll do Agile. You, for sure. Yes. What do you have?
The ruler I gave to Bob was my return.
Say again?
The ruler, that, it's
Okay.
supposed to be a that, but I just wrote the ruler I gave to Bob was my return.
Yeah.
What did you say it was? Was it UO or OU?
The town of Felix was at Bible school.
I'll be with you. U-O-U-S. U-O-U-S. Is what you need. And you needed, what do you have again?
I had,
The second and third letters.
I had OU.
Agile is good, yes. Vigilant. And comical. Yeah. Boy,
I had the line in the other.
I know, but you didn't have you up, you had O-U. All right, what's wrong with you? Yes, exactly, that's your first. And morose for you, and yes, and grotesque, and remedial, and picturesque. Picturesque. Grotesque is good, excellent, David. And tranquil, Cody, and verbose, Rita, and feminine. Silent. Good. Broken, yeah. And verbose.
I did.
Rancid. Picturesque. Nope, yeah, you did picturesque.
Hey.
Fix that. And, tranquil. I should throw in some from section 3 just to make it happy. That'd be hilarious.
Good one.
Want one? Facade.
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 Okay.
I don't even know what that really is. What is it?
It's like you put on.
Yeah, so a facade is originally about a building, like you put like a face on the building or whatever.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah, and also somebody can put on a facade of happiness when they're not. You want one from section 3?
Right there.
Technique.
That anywhere close?
No, yeah.
You got it right.
Oh, that's good. The quiz is tomorrow, where you will need to know these. I do not expect to see failing grades.
You did last time.
No, it was no lesson. No, you're doing very well. But you could do better. There's no reason to have a non-100. I see. Very, very useful stream when apparently. Yeah, you don't need noise. A long spell of silence. Oh well. Yes.
It says answer the questions about the paragraph and I don't know.
Okay. And what type of book could this paragraph be included? Who would maybe it be written to?
Music teacher?
Okay.
That's what you could write?
I wouldn't, no. I would look in the last sentence for clues.
Instrument. Summer display instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
All right, let's have lunch.